Welcome everyone. Today we'll have a very exciting and also a very ambitious guide with the loot filters for Last Epoch. Now looking behind me, I have been crafting loot filters for multiple classes, and at the moment we have the Falconer and also the Warlock. So this video will be broken down into two parts. The first part, I'll show you guys how to use multi-class loot filter and how to directly import what I have for you guys so you can try it as a sample. The second part, I'll teach you how to make your multi-class loot filters and how we can make a loot filter together that include all the class that is available and all the build that is going to be top meta for the build for Last Epoch. So this way, you just have to use one loot filter. You simply click or unclick the class you plan to play and you plan to farm for the items, and by doing so, you can be getting the best items for any of the class as you play your one character. You don't have to be like, oh, I want to build another character, now I have to farm the items for this. But using this loot filter, I can be farming my Falconer items or farming my Warlock items. But if I don't play Falconer, I just unclick Falconer and I don't have to farm for Falconer items. So this way, you can plan for multiple class, multiple builds while you're playing your game in any of the mode. So coming over to the first part. Firstly guys, what I want to provide to you guys is, I want to provide you guys with a shared document. With those documents, you simply click Alt Control and then you click Alt Copy to copy everything. And once that is copied onto the clipboard, you can then add your loot filters over here by clicking Paste onto the clipboard. By doing so, what you have just copied will turn into a loot filter over here, and this is the one I want to be sharing with you guys. Now looking behind me, you can see that I have made a number of loot filters for Void Knight, for minions of Necromancers, and also for Falconer and also for Warlock. I start to realize that we can have multiple loot filters, but we can't have one that pretty much farm for all the build at once. So this is my ambitious project. So how you want to use this loot filter is that everything that is unique and also side items will be collected. This loot filter will focus on tier 7 affixes. It will not be catering for tier 6 affixes because it will be a lot of more items. So this is more towards the end game loot filter that is work in progress. Let's say if I just want the Falconer, so I can unclick everything with a Warlock name on this. And if I want to go with both Warlock and Falconer, I can keep this one. So if I just want a Falconer, I can unclick all the Warlock ones over here, and this will allow me to just farm for Falconer items. And similarly, what I'm trying to do is, I'm currently looking into all the top tier lists for each of the class and any of the build. So this way, if you're planning to play Ballista Falconer, Explosion Falconer, Dive Falconer, any of the Falconers, this loot filter will be catering for this. And similarly, I'll be adding multiple builds for the Warlock, like Bleeding Warlock, Torment Warlock, and Auto-Casting Warlock into this filter. So this will be a work in progress. And once you guys get the hang of this, as you play the game, you'll be able to get items from multiple class. And you can see each of those will have a special color range. So if a teal color item drop, you know it's from Warlock. And if a purple one drops, I know it's from Falconer. Together, I also have assembled the loot filters for the idols and also for the valuable affixes like the skill affixes for each of the build. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Hey Matt, you said this will be for multiple classes and also for everything with Last Epoch. Yes, I'm currently having only 2 classes and also masteries at the moment, but I plan to add each of those every week. So the minimal promise is I'll be adding 1 class and also 1 mastery every week onto the loot filter. And within maybe 10 weeks into the game, we'll have at least 10 or 20 build. So I'm looking forward to Warlock, Druid, Ruin Mage, and also Void Knight onto this loot filter very, very soon. But if with your guys' help, we can be making this one so much quicker. Well, theoretically, if we have some viewers with multiple knowledge in different builds, and we work together, we can get this loot filter done within a week or 2, with over 10 different masteries and also for multiple builds. And this could be a really cool project we can work together as a community for Last Epoch. And you guys can provide me with your feedbacks and we'll be adding more builds together. And what I want to do for this project is by the end of the cycle or before the end of the cycle, we'll have a loot filter for over 10 or 20 builds. And this will allow us to play any build you want. Just having 1 loot filter will allow you for catering for the endgame availability for any of those items. So at the moment, we have the Falconer and also Warlock ready, almost ready. And I'll provide a sample for you guys for you to have a look. And if you're playing Falconer or Warlock, this is actually not bad loot filter for the end game at the moment. But keep in mind guys, I am still quite new to the game and I may be missing something. So my second hope or my ambitious project is I want to share this particular concept of loot filter, and for those of the viewers with more experience in multiple classes and also building loot filters, maybe you can help me minimize the usage of the rules and also make things easier, so the viewers don't have to click multiple unclickings when they pick a class or they pick multiple classes. And if we build together, because you can be duplicating loot filters and adding rules yourself, we can easily make a loot filter for everyone and also most of the classes. So what I recommend is, if you guys do have the concept and also understanding, try to join me on one of my Discord, and then you can send me a direct message. And then we can work together into making a better loot filter together for all the classes. Now coming over to the second part. If you want to help me with loot filter or build one yourself, you can be copying mine and adding rules onto this. So let me briefly explain the sections of the loot filter. The first part is I'm trying to get an exalted item with at least tier 7 affixes on the ones I wanted for each of the class or each of the build. Now I did select a lot of ones and probably I don't need to select all of them. So ideally for the Falconer, I want anything that provides me with anything I think will be helpful. For example, I want the bow damage, or maybe bow physical damage, anything related to melee damage. So the concept is I'm trying to select all the tier 7 exalted affixes that will be helpful for my Falconer. And this will be the exalted item list for the Falconer. And similarly, this is for the Warlock. After that, you're going to see some target farming for a particular item type. For example, I'm looking for the Falconer armor. And the Falconer armor, I'll show you guys over here. So Falconer armor is the one that provides us with dexterity and also melee damage with Falcon skills. And this is actually quite important for the late game. So the second section of the loot filter will cater for the late game item type and also for the stats of each of the class and also each of the build. After that, if we have any experimental items that we wanted, we can also cater for those. I'm currently looking for a higher row of the experimental ones, but if you guys want, you can set it to 4 as well, and this also works. And next to that, we'll be looking for the idols for each of the class. Simply listing out all the idols you wanted for this particular class and also for this particular build. Now I'm separating between Falconer and also Warlock. And if you guys are playing other classes, you can be adding another list to this particular type. And finally, I'll be looking for skill plus ranks for anything that is valuable. Like for example over here, I'll be looking for dive bomb over here for the Falconer. And anytime I get this particular Affix, I will be savaging this one or shattering this one for my future build. So this allows me to get any of the valuable affixes for each of those builds. Now I also have some hidden ones that I took away because I was farming for shattering affixes and also for shard for crafting. But at the moment, I don't think I need those. So what I recommend if you plan to build onto this loot filter is that you want to be separating class by the name. And finally, don't forget to rename this one onto the class. So this way, if a player or a viewer is using this loot filter and they don't plan to look for Warlock items, they can unclick everything that is related to Warlock. So this way, this loot filter is super mobile and super helpful if you're planning to play multiple builds and also try different classes and get some of the best items in the game. Now before I finish, I know this is an ambitious plan and this could backfire because I'm still very new to the game. So for those of you with more experience, please do share in the comments or directly message me through Discord to talk about how we can make this work and provide a great tool for the Last Epoch community.